What's up everybody, Fortexfiend here. Welcome back again to my channel with some more SD Gundam G Generation Eternal content. And we're going to be asking the question, should you be pulling for the upcoming banner featuring 2 units from the Astray series from Gundam Seed? The first one that we're actually going to be taking a look at is going to be Gundam Astray Red Frame Custom. So this is going to be our limited time attacker unit, as we could see right here that it says right here on the slide. And the EX weapon that they're teasing is Tactical Arms IIL, I think that's how you say that, EX. And check this out, it comes equipped with a 5600 weapon power EX weapon. I'm assuming that's at level 1, so it's probably going to be a little bit higher at 5. And it restores own HP equal to 30% of damage dealt. And the recovery is capped at 15% of own max HP. So this is going to be a very first time where we're going to get a unit essentially with like a life steal. If you guys are familiar with other characters from tactical RPGs, that life steal, for example, a great example is Gafgarian, who is the Dark Knight from Final Fantasy Tactics. This is pretty much that mechanic. So we're getting our very first life steal unit, and it also has an ability that increases own attack by 10% when HP is 50% or higher. So that life steal is going to be helping with that to get that attack boost. This is pretty cool. I can see this being very useful for Eternal Road, for example, and even content such as Master League, where surviving is going to be very, very important. And you know, it's a good thing they made it limited, you know, for something like this, because this is going to be a first for us. And I do think that it's quite cool that we're finally getting a unit that can do something like that. I was thinking that they would probably introduce this mechanic earlier, but we're going to be getting it for the very first time with Astray Red Frame Custom. The pilot is going to be Lowe Guele, so he is a double chance step. It says right here, increases chance step 1 time. He has an ability that lowers energy cost of own weapons when piloting Gundam Astray Red Frame. So that's going to be handy when he's piloting his own unit. That way you could capitalize on his EX skills, lifesteal. And then he also has a character skill that increases damage dealt to enemies by 25%. So pretty powerful pilot. We're getting another double chance step pilot, and it's incentivizing you to use him with his own unit, so that way you can constantly spam that EX ability, because the energy cost looks to be very high considering that it has that lifesteal capability. Next is going to be our non-limited time unit. This is going to be a defender. This is the Astray Gold Frame AMATSU MINA. The custom weapon being teased is the Okitsu no Kagami. So this has a 5700 weapon power, cost and 80 energy. This one also does a lifesteal, except this time it's only at 20% of damage dealt, and it's capped out at 10% of own max HP. So this is to, you know, kind of like separate it from it not being a limited time unit, but we're getting another unit now that can also lifesteal. And being that it's a durability, I could see this being very, very useful, because we want our durability units to survive so they can constantly support defend. So being able to recover its own HP by using an attack is actually pretty useful. It also has a 2200 weapon power map weapon that deals energy damage to up to 10% of the target's max energy, and also restores your energy. So this is an energy stealing ability here too, and it's a map ability, so that's kind of cool that it has that. So it kind of offsites the 80 cost energy that it does when it does the EX weapon. So very, very unique tank here. I think this is going to be a very underrated unit if you pull it. You know, mind you, it's not limited, so if you do decide to skip on the banner, or if you don't pull it on the tickets, it will be added to the future banners. But this is pretty cool for a non-limited type unit. I think both of these abilities are very good for tanks, especially a tank that we want to survive and we want to be consistent. Next, it's going to be the pilot, which is Rondo Mina Sahaku. So she is a durability pilot. There's no indication that she could double support defend, but she has an ability that increases attack and defense by 5% for squad units bearing the orb tag, and lowers energy cost of weapons by 15% when piloting her own unit. So she's reducing the energy cost, kind of similar to Lowe, so that way you could capitalize on the high energy cost of her skills. And then it also has a character skill that reduces own damage taken for 20% for 1 turn. That's always useful to have, especially for a defensive styled pilot. Finally, the non-UR supporter warship is going to be Kazahana Azure with the Laurasia class. This is the name of the ship. Apologize if I said that incorrectly. So this affects 2 different things: the Seed series tag and also the Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Astray series. So it's 20% for units bearing the Seed series tag, and then it's 30% for units that have both Astray and Seed series. This is going to be energy restoration, and I could, even though energy just restoration is still not the most desired compared to HP restoration, I think the reason why they are adding this warship for this particular banner is because of the moderately high energy cost of both of the brand new units attacks, considering that they have something to do with like life stealing now or like healing support. So that's probably why it offsets for that. I still think that energy cost ships or energy restoration ships are just still kind of mid. But I like how now they're adding in these like 2 different variables. So then that way it kind of gives you that good feeling. Oh, okay, if I use this, at least I could try to use units that have both of these so I could capitalize on those stat increases. So after we've taken a look at all of these units coming out, should you be pulling on this banner? If any of these units are your favorites, you are going to pull no matter what I say. If you've saved up and you absolutely love the Seed series, and especially the Astray Red Frame Custom or even the Gold Frame, you're probably going to be throwing some diamonds on this banner. But if you are on the fence, or for those of you that are still waiting for the anniversary, I would highly recommend that we still save. I know that they're really trying to get us to pull because we just had a limited time attacker unit with XX, and now we're getting another one so soon with Astray Red Frame Custom, and they're really trying to tempt you now because we are now getting a unit. We're getting 2 units now that have essentially lifesteal. You know, that Dark Knight type of an ability where you deal damage and you get some of your life back. So they're trying to tempt you with that. But what I'm speculating, again, keyword speculating, is that for part 2 of this upcoming event, maybe one of the development units that we can get for free might have something like this, albeit it's probably not going to be as good as any of the URs, but you never know. We might be able to get a development unit that also has, you know, HP restoration after dealing damage. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But in my opinion, as cool as this is and as tempting as it is, and, you know, I got to make sure that I don't get tempted myself, I would say outside of the free tickets that we potentially could get, because we do get these, you know, 10 tickets that we can use to pull on some of these banners, and I hope that we get it for this, I would probably skip on this banner because anniversary is just right around the corner in April. You know, we're still in the month of February, but guys, time flies by so quickly that April will be here right before you know it. So in my personal opinion, I'd hold off outside of the potential free tickets that we get, and also, you know, see what kind of free units that we could get that could potentially, again, potentially, speculatively have, you know, HP restoration after dealing damage. But let me know what your guys' plans are for this banner. What do you guys think about units now that could essentially heal HP after dealing damage? I feel like this is something they could have introduced again earlier, but now we're finally getting it. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video and stay blessed, everybody.